Hello and welcome to EWTN Vatican. My name is Andreas Stonehauser and I'm the Vatican Bureau Chief here in Rome. We want to present to you the latest news and the stories behind the scenes of the Holy See here in this eternal city, and you can follow all of those stories on our YouTube channel and the other social media channels. Please make sure to subscribe. Also subscribe to our email and you will receive a weekly update on everything that is going on here in Rome. Thank you for being with us and supporting us. This would not be possible without your support.
This week on VATICANO, leaders of world religions gather in the Vatican to sign an unprecedented joint appeal on the environment, calling countries to achieve net zero carbon emissions. The Holy Father kicks off the 2-year synodal process, learn what the Synod of Bishops is, and discover its origins. Cardinal John Henry Newman has been a saint for 2 years already. Witness how Rome celebrates the 2nd anniversary of his canonization. For this and more, VATICANO starts now. Pope Francis had one of the busiest weeks of this year, packed with events, meetings, and visits. The Holy Father welcomed Maltese Prime Minister Robert Abella and discussed his potential visit to the main island of Malta and the nearby island of Gozo on a 2-day trip before heading to Greece and Cyprus. Though the dates have not yet been confirmed, the trip would mirror the one originally planned back in spring of 2020. German Chancellor Angela Merkel visited the Vatican at the end of her 16 years of service. The two leaders addressed the consequences of migration, ecology, the ongoing health crisis, and the protection of minors. In a brief meeting with journalists, the Chancellor said that it's very important that the Church maintain its credibility. Then the German Chancellor Angela Merkel visited the future home of the Pontifical Gregorian University's Institute of Anthropology, called Interdisciplinary Studies on Human Dignity and Care, which is led by a German Jesuit, the priest, Father Hans Zollner. This new institute, previously known as the Center for Child Protection, will continue to work for the safety and protection of minors, but also provide university degrees and PhDs in safeguarding. Pope Francis announced his intention to declare Saint Irenaeus of Lyon a Doctor of the Church with the title Doctor of Unity. The Holy Father made the announcement in a meeting with representatives from the Saint Irenaeus Joint Orthodox Catholic Working Group. Saint Irenaeus is patron of this ecumenical group and is renowned for his defense against Gnosticism by both Catholics and Orthodox Christians. On the occasion of ecumenical and interreligious meetings in Rome, the Holy Father welcomed the Orthodox Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, Bartholomew I, the head of the Anglican Church, Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, the Catholicos of the Armenians, Karakin II, Metropolitan Hilarion Alfeyev, Chairman of External Church Relations of the Patriarchate of Moscow, and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmad Al-Tayyib. Many of these religious leaders joined Pope Francis later in the week at the Colosseum to participate in a prayer for peace. The Holy Father concluded the 35th International Meeting for Peace in Rome, hosted by the Sant'Egidio community.
Le religioni sentono di procedere insieme verso il futuro perché
The meeting involved many religious leaders from around the world to discuss peace with the theme Peoples as Brothers, Future Earth.
Sogniamo popoli fratelli e una terra futura.
With people from 40 countries and varying religious backgrounds, Pope Francis offered a moment of silence for all victims of war before asking God to demilitarize the human heart.
Il Signore sia con voi.
The ecumenical patriarch Bartholomew I of Constantinople also joined Pope Francis in launching a degree course on ecology and the environment at the Pontifical Lateran University. The Holy Father stated his belief that both believers and non-believers alike have the responsibility to learn the tools necessary to help protect the Earth's ecosystem.
Dall'università passa anche lo sforzo per formare la coscienza ecologica.
Pope Francis also warned that not being ecologically aware leads to environmental problems and feeds into a throwaway culture.
Dell'educazione alla sostenibilità.
Pope Francis joined a meeting of world religion leaders on the topic Religions and Education towards a global compact on education.
Representatives of religions are meeting to share their commitment.
The session stressed the interdependence between religion and education in moving towards a more fraternal world. The Holy Father closed his address reminding the members that religious traditions have always played a role in being an integral part of educating the whole person, body, heart, and soul.
Nella sua integralità, cioè testa, mani, cuore e anima.
Pope Francis, together with leaders of the world religions and scientists, issued an unprecedented joint message on the environment, calling countries to achieve net zero carbon emissions. The joint appeal was signed during the Faith in Science towards COP26 meeting ahead of the UN Climate Change Conference in Glasgow, Scotland.
Le parole chiave del Sinodo sono tre: comunione, partecipazione e missione.
To kick off the start of the synodal process, the Holy Father spoke at an event warning against certain attitudes that could hinder the Synod: formalism, intellectualism, and immobility. To combat this, Pope Francis described three opportunities that the Synod provides the Church.
La prima opportunità è quella di incamminarci.
The first is to set out, not occasionally, but structurally, towards a synodal church, an open place where everyone feels at home and can participate. The Synod then offers us the opportunity to become a church of listening, to take a break from our rhythms, to stop our pastoral anxieties, to stop and listen. Finally, we have the opportunity to become a church of closeness. We always return to God's style. God's style is closeness, compassion, and tenderness.
Lo stile di Dio è vicinanza, compassione e tenerezza.
This marked the first of two major events signaling the start of the Synod, as the Pope also celebrated Mass at St. Peter's Basilica, which formally opened the 2-year worldwide consultation phase. When we return, we go deeper into the synodal process that the Holy Father began. The Synod of Bishops, as we know it today, is a fairly recent development. It was just over 60 years ago, on September the 15th, 1965, during the Second Vatican Council, when Paul VI, with the motu proprio Apostolica Sollicitudo, officially established the Synod of Bishops. Synodality was once described by St. Augustine as an agreement in the faith of all the baptized. The institution of the Synod of Bishops was the fruit of the Council Fathers' desire to keep the authentic spirit of collegiality, that is, the union and collaboration of the bishops worldwide, with the Pope alive. This collegiality is expressed in the etymology of the word synod, which means walking together. St. John Paul II, who liked to call himself the Pope of the Synod, he celebrated 15 of them in his almost 27-year pontificate, described the Synod as a particularly fruitful expression and the most valid instrument of episcopal collegiality. Over the years, synodal norms have undergone some changes. The most recent was made by Pope Francis with the 2018 Apostolic Constitution, Episcopalis Communio, published just weeks before the Youth Synod. It was a synodal renewal summarized in a three-phase process. Number 1, the preparatory phase, the consultation of the people of God on the themes indicated by the Pope. Consultation that takes place through episcopal conferences, local churches, questionnaires, or other ways that can directly involve the faithful. Number 2, the celebratory phase, represented by the assembly gathering of the bishops. The celebratory phase begins and ends with a Eucharistic concelebration, presided over by the Pope, together with the Synod Fathers. Number 3, the implementation phase. The conclusions of the Synod approved by the Pope must be accepted and implemented by the bishops' conferences and the local churches. The Synod of Bishops, new in its institution, but ancient in its inspiration, is an important channel for providing answers to the most difficult questions in the life of man and the Church.
With environmentally and socially responsible standards, and evaluating the goods we purchase and the services we hire with the same ethical lens.
The Vatican hosted the Faith and Science Towards COP26 meeting ahead of the UN Climate Change Conference, scheduled for November the 1st through the 12th in Glasgow, Scotland.
Benvenuti in Vaticano.
For this occasion, leaders of world religions and scientists gathered with Pope Francis to sign a joint petition for countries to achieve net zero carbon emissions as soon as possible.
Your Holiness, esteemed faith leaders.
The petition is addressed to Alok Sharma, the president-designate of the COP26 Climate Summit,
Santo Padre,
and to Luigi Di Maio, Italian Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Orthodox Church.
Metropolitan Hilarion Alfeyev, chairman of the Department of External Church Relations of the Patriarchate of Moscow, participated in the meeting and shared why the religious leaders signed the petition.
Мы все очень обеспокоены экологической ситуацией.
We are all very concerned about the environmental situation in the world and the climate changes that can lead to unpredictable consequences. On our own, we cannot prevent the coming disaster, but we can convince political leaders to take decisions that will improve the environmental situation. And therefore, by working together, we can avoid this disaster. If the ice would have melted, and if some territories will be flooded, the water will not ask, "Are you Orthodox or Catholic, Muslim or Buddhist or Jew?" All will be victims of this natural disaster. So before it happens, before it's too late, we need to make an effort so that this does not happen in order for us to save our common home, our beautiful planet.
The appeal goes beyond the protection of the environment. The Holy Father also spoke out against the throwaway culture. He said that this joint declaration counters it and names the causes of conflicts: greed, indifference, ignorance, fear, injustice, insecurity, and violence. The Faith and Science Towards COP26 meeting was promoted by the British and Italian embassies to the Holy See. Pope Francis will not attend the United Nations Climate Summit in Glasgow, Scotland, according to the director of the Holy See Press Office, Matteo Bruni. He said that the Vatican delegation would be led by Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin.
In relazione alle residue posizioni oggettive e soggettive a ordine procedesse.
10 defendants, including Cardinal Angelo Becciu, a former prefect of the Congregation for the Causes of Saints, were part of a historic Vatican finance trial held on October the 5th. The second trial is the culmination of more than 2 years of investigations into what happened in and around the Secretariat of State's €350 million purchase of an investment property in London between 2014 and 2018.
Actually, Cardinal Becciu is a marginal.
Andrea Gagliarducci, Vatican analyst at Catholic News Agency, has been following the case for 2 years and gives updates on the second trial.
Now, the president of the tribunal, Giuseppe Pignatone, updated everything to November 17. So there will be a new hearing on November 17. In the meantime, the public prosecutor, that in the Vatican is called promoter of justice, has been asked to deposit all the depositions, even the audio file recordings.
Il promotore di giustizia provvede al deposito delle intercettazioni.
And then there are other positions that are not, have to be started over, because they were not proceeded with all the due guarantees. And so the president of the tribunal decided that these positions have to be re-investigated, re-questioned. So for this part of the investigation, things start from the beginning.
Rinvia il processo per l'ulteriore corso all'udienza del 17 novembre 2021 ore 9.
I don't think they will finish on November 17th because, although there are issues for invalidity of the trial, the president of the tribunal found this middle way. So some things will start it over so that they try to fix these irregularities, let's call them that way. And on the other hand, the trial will go on for other issues.
The Vatican claims that the deal intended to defraud the Secretariat of State of millions of euros. When we return, walk along the path of sainthood in Rome with Saint John Henry Newman. The church celebrates St. John Henry Newman on October the 9th, and to mark his feast day, a pilgrimage was organized through the streets of Rome, stopping at some of the places where John Henry Newman lived, studied, and prayed. Father Hermann Geisler, director of the Newman Center in Rome, guides us through the pilgrimage.
So many people who join us in this pilgrimage, people from almost all continents. So we have people from different countries of Europe, from America, from Africa, from Asia. Really a sign that Newman is known and loved really all over the world. And this is, for me, this is a reason, really a reason of joy.
Living in the city of Rome was a turning point in St. John Henry Newman's conversion from Anglicanism to Catholicism. Sister Anna Duringer from the spiritual family The Work, a Catholic community that promotes the work of St. John Henry Newman, explains his first impression of Rome in 1833.
Newman worked then as an Anglican clergyman and as a university professor in Oxford. He came to Rome with mixed feelings. He knew and admired the world of the Roman Empire, the world of taste, of imagination. He knew that England received the faith from Rome, but as most Anglicans at the time, he regarded Rome as the seat of the Antichrist.
Through his dedication to his theological studies, he converted to the Catholic faith in 1845, and 2 years later, he prepared for his ordination at the Mission College of Propaganda Fide in the heart of Rome.
His bishop sent him and his friend, Emperor St. John, to Rome to make Catholic experience and to prepare for ordination. And he was sent to the Mission College because England at that time was considered a mission country. And then, May the 30th, Newman was ordained a priest there in the College of Propaganda Fide, and the 3rd of June, he offered his first Mass on the altar, which is still there in the chapel of Propaganda Fide and still serves for the celebration of Mass.
The pilgrimage proceeded to another significant place for John Henry Newman, Chiesa Nuova, the church of the tomb of St. Philip Neri.
When Newman came to Rome the second time, he prepared for the priest ordination, and he wanted also to find his exact place in the church. He wished to live in community and friendship with other priests, but also to have a pastoral ministry. And here in this place he caught fire with St. Philip Neri and the Oratorians.
We will go now to the theater of Marcello, where there are 3 pillars which are left from an old temple of Apollos, and they are a beautiful sign of what remains really in our life. That is, those things that are founded on the 3 pillars of faith, hope and charity. This is a wonderful message of St. John Henry Newman.
The pilgrims passed by St. Peter's Square, where in 1879, Pope Leo XIII elevated him to the College of Cardinals, becoming the titular priest of the Church of San Giorgio in Velabro. St. John Henry Newman endured much during his life, including suspicions and accusations. He once summarized his life as a fight against liberalism in religion. But today, he's known as one of the greatest theologians and scholars in both the Anglican and the Catholic faiths.